Well, it's time to talk about yellowtails here at the CCA Workbench and Rigs and Techniques is what we're doing tonight.
Well,
go ahead.
Yellowtails, they're a beautiful and tasty little fish. They inhabit the Atlantic Ocean all the way from Maine to Brazil, believe it or not. All the little reefs and patch reefs and stuff, even out in deep water up to 300 feet. As a matter of fact, most of the big giant yellowtails come from places like Bermuda and Hawaii and, places where there's really deep water, and they catch these big giant yellowtails around those big reefs. But here, if we catch a 5-pounder, that's a giant.
Right.
A 5-pounder is a trophy. Some people call them flags. I caught one time in West Palm. I was using a triple rig with a whole ballyhoo on it, trying to catch a kingfish. Ended up catching a 5-pound yellowtail. Gave it to my father-in-law, and it was like I gave him a box of gold. He loved it. He was a Bahamian guy, so he loved those yellowtails.
All right.
So 10 yellowtail per person per day is what you can get here in Florida, and they have to be 12 inches, as Ridge said earlier. So we want to make sure that you cull them properly and don't get one that's a little too short. Usually you catch these fish, they get up in schools in like 60 to 100 feet of water down in the south, and a good current is what you're looking for. When you go out there, if you got a good current, then you should probably day to start fishing.
And it's important to have the current and the wind going together.
Correct.
When the two are fighting, then a lot of times what happens is your stuff just goes straight down.
Right.
Okay.
And a good current, it disperses your chum, which actually gets out there and draws the fish to you. If there ain't no current, like you said, the chum ain't going nowhere.
Right.
And it ain't helping you out. So most guys will start out with 2 chum bags. You want to use a fairly fine mesh because you don't want to feed them till they get fat. You want to just get a bunch of stuff out there, but little stuff, so that and gets up on top. And then you can throw out your oat chum. And a good oat chum, is rolled oats with some, cat food, maybe some loaf of bread thrown in there, some seawater. Some guys, if they're fishing in deep water and they want their chum to get deep, they'll put sand in there and ball it up with sand. But, a lot of guys don't use sand because that pretty much,
falls straight down,
like you were talking about.
Right.
So if you don't have those situations, and you want to get that yellow brick road, chum and chum. Don't start putting your baits out right away. Give them some time till you see them all come up in that big golden spot on the surface, that yellow brick road that we're all looking for, and be patient. Start maybe with one guy. And if he's
one rod at a time.
Right. And if he's doing well, maybe you can ease out a couple of rods and you have 2 rods out. But if the bite stops, go ahead and stop fishing for 10 minutes. Throw out some more chum and then wait, and then go at them again.
Now, what size line should we be using?
But anywhere between 10 and 15-pound tests,
Monofilament?
Monofilament. You want to use monofilament. You want to tie, they have really good eyesight. So you could use a little 20-pound fluorocarbon leader if you want to, but tying straight 12-pound to one of these little larva jigs is probably your best bet. And you can fish anything on that, piece of shrimp. You can go through your chum bag and get some of the bigger stuff out of there if you want. That always works well. Strips of squid. Probably the best, though, is bonita or little tunas. It's the skin off of a blackfin tuna or a little bonito.
And cut it in a little small piece.
Correct.
So that you're mimicking the chunks that are coming out of the chum.
Right. And when you shake that bag, you watch that chum falling out, you want your bait to fall about at the same rate as that chum. And we're going to show you a little bit what happens when you do that.
So the mistake that most people make, Dave, is what?
Well, they lift the rod. They stop the chum from flowing along.
I'm mimicking what the line. Now watch the line. Alex, show Dave there. And what happens is the current, this monofilament's just flowing off down current. And as it starts to go a little faster, if it goes like this, then most likely that's a bite.
And
the mistake that everybody makes while they're letting the line out is they go like that. And when they go like that, when you raise up the rod to keep it slack, that actually stops your little piece of bait from flowing naturally. And now 50 fish just saw your bait go up current, and now they know. And they're really that smart.
Yeah, and that's why you only do one angler at a time for a little while, and then if you're still catching fish, go ahead and put 2 guys out there. But once it stops, you got to stop fishing for a minute and let them get back up to the top again, because they get wary. They're smarter than you think, and they get a lot of pressure in their defense. They get a lot. They get pressured a lot, so they get, you know, when all their buddies start disappearing, you know, they think, hey, something must be up, and it usually is. It's one of us.
Guys, remember this: that same exact technique is what you can use when you got mangrove snappers that are coming up off of the wreck or coming up off of the ledge. It's the same principle. Just let it flow naturally down current. You got to manually do it so that it doesn't stop. Most of the time, people don't pay attention, and then it stops coming off of the spool. Guess what? Your drift stops, and then you stop fishing.
All right. You're not fishing for those yellowtails anymore. You're fishing for something else.
That's right. Good job, bub.